Good morning. This meeting of the Senate Judiciary Committee will come to order. Today we consider 3 U.S. Attorney nominees and 1 bipartisan bill, the Justice Mental Health Collaboration Reauthorization Act. Before I turn to the agenda, I want to address an issue which has been widely debated this week. There's been a lot of comment about protests at the homes of Supreme Court justices. I've made my views on this matter very clear. I respect the First Amendment right of all Americans to peacefully protest. But as I've said before, I do not think it's appropriate for protesters to target the homes of public officials, including judges or justices or their families. We have to ensure the safety of our federal judiciary and their families. Last week, this committee came together to help pass bipartisan legislation sponsored by Senator Cornyn and Senator Coons to ensure the Supreme Court police can protect the immediate families of the justices. We also need to pass the Daniel Anderl Judicial Security and Privacy Act, bipartisan legislation that we reported last year, currently being hotlined on the floor of the Senate. It is in direct response to the horrific attack on federal judge Esther Salas's family at her home in New Jersey. It's time to get that signed into law. When it comes to this week's protest, I wish that my Republican colleagues would reserve the same level of outrage for the violent rioters who stormed the U.S. Capitol on January 6, leading to the deaths of 5 Capitol police officers. I commend Senator Tillis, who said in our hearing yesterday that the attack on the Capitol was reprehensible. I share that view. But the Republican National Committee actually adopted a resolution deeming January 6 insurrection as, quote, legitimate public discourse, close quote. Having said what I did about my views on appropriate public protest, let me also add that the gravity of the issue before us is historic. Americans are about to lose a constitutional right the court has guaranteed for 50 years. If Justice Alito's draft opinion becomes the law of the land, millions of Americans will no longer be able to make the most basic decisions about reproductive health, their lives and their future. Judicial elimination of a constitutional right is indeed a grave concern. This has not happened before in the history of this country. The Alito draft opinion has created a real sense of fear and foreboding across the nation. Let me repeat, as I've often said, violence is never an appropriate form of protest. I strongly condemn recent violence targeting the offices of anti-abortion organizations in Wisconsin and Oregon. At the same time, abortion providers across the country are preparing for an expected increase in harassment after the court releases its final decision in Dobbs. This follows a significant rise in assaults and threats targeting abortion clinics in recent years. I hope that all my colleagues will join me in condemning all violence, no matter what the political motivation. I also want to speak briefly about one of the nominees, Rochelle Crow, to be U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Illinois. Before she started her service in the Illinois State Senate in 2018, Ms. Crow spent 13 years as a prosecutor and assistant state's attorney in the Madison County State's Attorney's Office, prosecuting violent crimes, general felonies, abuse, and neglect cases. In the state Senate, Ms. Crow served as chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee and has won praise from numerous law enforcement groups, including the Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police and the Illinois Sheriff's Association. There's not been a confirmed U.S. attorney for this Southern District since 2015. The Trump administration did not put forward a nominee to fill this spot. I'm glad that we're moving forward. I'm confident that Ms. Crow has the integrity and qualifications to serve. With that, I turn to Ranking Member Grassley.